Welcome to PNRShow, Season 5, Episode 24. Goodbye, old friend. And I lost the music. Awesome.
I'd rather have longer than life. I'll take a strong step.
Classic.
I'd prefer to confer with a half pint of ale than live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail. So bring me longer alive. I'd rather have longer than life. I'll take a strong stout over Sprite.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times that made us laugh, that outweighed the bad. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever has blown away. It's so hard to say goodbye to Jeremy. Welcome to the Planet No Return Show. This is the closeout of Season 4. The last episode. That's right, dogs. Last episode, Season 4. I'm joined, as always, but for the last time, by Keith, Jeremy, and Gary. So we're going to lead off the show real quick. Let's get the tears out of the way. Jeremy has been offered a network show. He's going to the CW. And he's going to be starring alongside.
I thought you said it was a network show.
No. Yeah. He's going to be starring alongside Moesha in a buddy cop drama entitled Brooks and Moesha.
I'm the bad cop.
It's the bad, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, Jeremy, you know, we do these podcasts. We schedule these podcasts. Schedule these podcasts.
That's funny.
So we schedule these podcasts sort of regularly, but you know, sometimes we, as you've undoubtedly seen, our regular fans, miss weeks on occasion and have different things going in our lives. And the slogan is always that real life trumps everything that we're doing. So Jeremy is going to be taking a step back to explore his options with other horrible podcasts. I don't know.
He's taking a sabbatical.
Yeah, he's taking a sabbatical.
He's taking some time to look inward and do some analysis.
He's going into temporary retirement as a permanent host of the show, and is going to become a host emeritus. He'll still come back every now and then. But Jeremy, you want to address our fans? I'm sorry, Aaron.
Aaron, our fans. Yeah, it's just life is getting in the way. It's really difficult to do this every week these days. And I actually managed.
Thank God we don't.
I know. Imagine if I tried to do it every week. I figured I'd probably do 1 or 2 years. So a run of 4 years has been pretty good. And it's been a blast. Had some awesome beers, and you can't get rid of me that easily. I'll still be around and abusing you in chat and show up on episodes once in a while.
Now don't panic, everyone, because Jeremy is not going to stop drinking beer.
Nope.
That was an option. That was a thought.
He's not going to stop talking. He's not going to stop talking and let his opinions be known. And he's
not that I have an opinion.
And he's not going to stop never going to see a movie. That is not the Jeremy that we know, and that will not happen. Not on our watch. He'll continue to be the cinephile ignoramus of the podcast, no matter where.
When I see a movie, it will be a movie that all of you think, "Why are you going to see that movie?"
or you're just seeing that now.
So, I still haven't seen Top Gun.
So what we did for the show today, I wanted Jeremy. I actually just wanted Jeremy to do the whole work for everything on the show.
I noticed
He
that.
thought well, on a serious note, I said, Jeremy, you know, I want you to pick the topics. We'll talk about whatever you want, and then for the pick segments, we'll just do all your picks. Like, you know, come up with 4 picks of your own, and you can talk them all about them all.
As long as one is Hearthstone.
Yeah, Hearthstone has to be on there.
Yeah.
And Jeremy took that to mean that basically we were going to sit here and watch him talk for an hour, maybe drink beer as we go.
I like this plan.
Yeah. So no, Jeremy, sorry. But Jeremy did pick some topics. He's got some stuff tonight, and I see he has 1 pick at least.
I managed to figure out 1 pick.
Okay.
And I could throw Hearthstone in there if you want.
Sure.
I've got a pick ready if we need one.
Okay, good. Yeah, I can have one ready too.
I definitely got one.
Before we head to the beers, which are our 2 beers this week to close out our season, 2 of Keith's Rochester beers. A quick update, because we have our man Gary, who's not retiring, has just returned back from Eastern Europe.
Central Europe.
Central Europe, yes. Tell us about your trip.
So I had to take another trip across the pond for work, and had a flight through Munich, and so I took a long weekend. And Gilly flew over and met me. She almost didn't come because of things, and we went to
fires.
Prague.
Makes sense.
Fire, yeah. Had a little
Infernos.
natural disaster happen here. So yeah, she met me. We spent a night in Munich, got on a train the next day, went to Prague, spent a few nights in Prague, and came home. And Prague was freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's an amazing city.
It is truly. It's amazing because it was untouched for so many decades by a huge amount of Western influence that a lot of the old architecture is preserved.
Yeah. Is it your first time there?
Yeah, I'd never been there before, so had a lot of really a lot of good pilsners and lagers, and actually found a couple of IPAs. The very last day, it was it's at a brewery at a monastery that brewed pretty good craft beers, and it was up the hill, and we had to walk there in the dark, and it was a funny story. So Prague's awesome. If you get a chance to go there, I would highly recommend it. And Slovenia was where I was at for work, and actually I had some really, really good IPAs in Slovenia. They are making better American IPAs than most American breweries.
Nice.
And cheap beer too, right?
Yeah.
It was rock bottom there.
Yeah, we sat down at a cafe that's attached to a museum up by the palace in Prague, and they had the Budweiser, the Budvar, that's brewed in Czech Republic, so it's an actual real Czech Pilsner. And it's actually good. I mean, it's like the only decent thing that with the Budweiser label on it that I have ever tried. And we ordered 2, and I'm like, cafe at a museum. This is going to cost us. But they had an amazing view of the city. So we were like, yeah, this is a good spot. We'll hang out here for a little while. It was like $5 for 2 beers.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, Prague.
That was high tourist prices.
If you ever get a chance to go to Prague, I heartily suggest it. Like Jeremy or Gary was saying, sorry, wouldn't it be a podcast if I didn't get the names wrong? What Gary is mentioning too is that Prague was basically untouched during World War II, where most of the Central European cities got bombed out by the Germans or the Allies. Prague surrendered pretty quick, and the Germans just rolled right in. So basically, they occupied it for the entire war and didn't bomb it. So all the beautiful architecture is still there, and it's like a tale of literally a tale of 2 cities. It's got the very old section, and then the new section is very modern. And
we didn't even go into the new section.
We
just didn't have time.
And then these awesome the rivers that go through. It's almost like parts of it feel like Venice a little bit, and it's really very, very cool. So
yeah, it was fun.
But you didn't go ahead.
I was gonna say I got lots more stories, but if we want to drink beer first, we can.
Well, I know that I can't keep the boys from the beer much longer. So let us drink then. Drink to Jeremy's health. We've got 2 beers this evening, both of them IPAs. This is how much I care about you, Jeremy. Both from Rochester, the last of Keith's Rochester beers. We've got the Genesee Brewhouse Black IPA.
Which we're doing first, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Indeed. And
Okay,
then
good, because I already poured it.
that will be followed up by the Rock Brewing Company's Whoop-Ass Double IPA.
That's a great name for a beer.
It is. Double IPA. That's always great.
Yeah, so we're going 3 deep into the IPAs, basically. If you're counting it.
Yeah. Wow, that looks like a Coca-Cola. I mean, it's like the fizz is the same. The head is the same.
I don't smell a lot of hoppies in the Black IPA.
For those of you following along at home, the Genesee Brewhouse is the bar and restaurant that is attached to the Genesee Brewery here in Rochester. That they, within the last 10 years, have completely redone, gutted, and put out. And it's actually kind of a combination museum, beer museum, and pub. And there they run these pilot brews, which are right there at the pub, and you can see their vats and stuff right there that they do them in. And then they also bottle them out and put them out in at least the Rochester area. I don't know how far these get as seasonal brewers out of Rochester. So this label goes on a lot of different things that they try out, and this was a seasonal brew from, I want to say this might be pushing a year old at this point. So I want to say maybe last winter. So there's another old one from my collection that I was hanging on to.
It's got heavy and caramel, roasted, and black malts. I definitely get those, and the malt specifically, very, very malty on the nose.
Yeah, it is almost a little licoricey smell.
All right. All right, are you ready?
Ready.
Jeremy, offer us a toast.
Drink more beer.
There you go. Here's to Jeremy. Prost.
So are these beers that often make it into production?
Only under this label. So only as these, like you'll never see this canned with a Genesee beer label on it. So it's kind of their craft brew arm with, I think, limited distribution to here in the Northeast. And this is, I'm sorry to say, a bit on the old side. The hops have dropped out of it altogether.
Yeah. And that must be why I'm enjoying it so much.
The body's held really good together in the malt and everything, but there's no hops left in it.
Man,
is a shame.
I'm really liking it.
It's definitely got the qualities that make a black IPA distinct from a regular IPA. It's got all of that part of it. Yeah. But the actual IPA part is kind of missing, probably because of the age.
It's almost like a milder stout.
It is, yeah. It's approaching like a dry stout, and where it is now.
It tastes like a porter to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does.
You can see all that.
Which is good. I mean, I love porters. And this is the time of year to start drinking them.
Yeah. So. No, this held its age a lot better than that other one I sent up. I can't remember right now. What was it? What was it? The Nugget Nectar. So this definitely held together better as a beer. It's very drinkable still, but yeah, the hop part of it of the IPAs has gone missing on us.
Yeah. Breaking news: Houston Astros up 3-0 on the LA Dodgers.
Ooh,
nice.
Astros Game 7. In case you're watching us live,
we'll be watching it. What inning is it?
Top of the second.
Wow. Okay. Good. Okay.
So yeah, this has really got some nice notes to it. It's got it kind of a toasted, the malty, slightly burnt finish to it. Maybe leaving a little chocolatey taste to it. Notes on it. So I'm digging it.
It's definitely, when it was younger, it was really good. This is one of the brews I grabbed a 6-pack of on a whim on like a Friday night, and by Monday it was gone, and I'm like, oh, I got to get this for the guys. grabbed a 6-pack, set it in the garage, and left it there as I was acquiring things that I'd never ever sent.
Listen,
So,
as far as I'm concerned, you guys can do that with every IPA you send.
so this is
Sit for a year.
Just age out the hops.
this is a garage aged black IPA. But yeah, I love black IPAs normally, and this is still, like Rob says, it's very drinkable. It's not missing much. But sure, if you like it now, you'd really love it with the hops. So I'll have to try to send out around, if it comes around again, with actual hops in it, a little fresher.
Yeah. All right. So we'll continue to drink that, maybe do a topic or two, and then dig into the next one. Although boys finished drinking that up. Yeah, exactly. All right.
For you, Jeremy.
So it's time to go in our topic segment. This is a little section of the podcast that we call Pints Taken, and we've got music for you. So, I did just introduce that Pint Taken, but Jeremy brings up an important point, or Gary does. I see the little text windows over the top. There was no feedback, so never mind.
Just asking. So we're warned that Rob is paying attention to chat.
Yeah, we were trying to subtly skip over that, but Rob brought it to everybody's.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted them to see the dirty underside of not only our podcast, but of us too.
We might have to take our shirts off again.
I love your dirty undersides. Okay, so Jeremy's first topic of the evening is another craft brewery bites the big brand dust. What happened, Jeremy?
There's a brewery in Florida, apparently a pretty big craft brewery called Funky Buddha. I don't know if you guys see it. I've never seen it out here.
I have seen Funky Buddha.
They are now part of Constellation Brands.
Oh, that's out of New York. I used to live in Victor, New York.
So,
yeah, that's a big company around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guys that own, what is that, Corona and Modelo, now own Funky Buddha Brewery. One more down.
For what it's worth, Constellation seems to be buying these and continuing to operate them as they were.
It seems like they're building a craft brew arm.
Yeah, so I think that's probably safer hands. I'd rather see it go there than to the ultra big conglomerates like Bud and stuff like that.
Like InBev and something.
So yeah, we need to do a Funky Buddha segment, because listen to the beers that they have on their roster. I mean, last year in 2016 they won 5 gold medals for Rate Beer's Best Awards. They dominated the Imperial Porter category with 3 gold medals for Morning Wood, Wide Awake It's Morning, and Last Buffalo in the Park. In the Porter category, listen, we got to get these. Maple Bacon Coffee Porter and Last Snow Coconut Coffee Porter.
That sounds good.
It also won the World Beer Cup in 2016 gold medal in the specialty beer category, Maple Bacon Coffee Porter.
I have never had their beers.
No. And they are in the top 100 brewers category.
I don't think I've ever seen them.
Yeah,
I have seen them here.
They must be in the southeast there.
Oh, look at that. And Constellation owns one of my wife's favorite wines, Kim Crawford. Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And Constellation owns a lot.
They produce Svedka vodka, Casa Noble tequila, and High West whiskey. Wow.
They do High West?
High West whiskey, yep.
Yeah, they do. That's what Lagunitas uses for their High Westified barrel-aged stouts, is barrels from High West.
Oh.
Very interesting. And of course, in the article, what they said is basically what you guys have borne out, is that they're going to let Funky Buddha keep their day-to-day operations and keep doing what they're doing, and just kind of do the supervisory role.
Did you mention Constellation owns Ballast Point?
I did not. I did not know that.
I think that's I think it's Constellation that bought Ballast Point.
Well, maybe they can lower the prices then. Holy crap!
It's the number 3 beer company in the U.S.
I love
Corona Light, Modelo Especial, Pacifico, and Modelo Negra.
Ballast Point. It's really, they make really great stuff.
Yes, they
holy
also
cow!
Ballast
By the time they get to the East Coast, anyway, they are one
Holy
of the most
crap.
expensive craft beers.
They own
they are really expensive.
they own Robert Mondavi wines, Clos de Bois wines.
Yeah, they're primarily, they started out as a winery
Man, oh
collector.
man, they're big.
It's a Fortune 500 company. I mean, that's a big company.
That's pretty freaking cool. Well, I mean, not for Jeremy. That just means he can't ever drink Funky Buddha.
Can't ever drink their beers again.
Well, you know, there is a remedy to that. We can kick you off the show. So done and done.
If I see him, I'll try him. I did have a what was it? Oh, Eliason Brewing from Seattle that got bought out by Anheuser-Busch. I did have one of their beers before I got on the plane because the options were all Budweiser Anheuser-Busch labels. So I figured I would choose the least offensive. But other than that, yeah.
Nice.
Stick to local craft beer.
We did a Ballast Point on the show, and we did the Habanero Sculpin, and it got really good reviews, except from Rob. We gave it a 1.
That Habanero Sculpin is a really good beer.
Yeah,
It's
still one of my favorites.
That's my favorite chili beer.
Yeah, it's really good.
As you all know, folks out there, I am the voice of reason. Hey! Scoring update, Houston 5, Dodgers 0.
Wow, Houston just taking off in the early game.
That's
How many
because
pitching changes have the Dodgers had?
I do not know, but that's only because what's-his-face, Yasiel Puig, guaranteed a victory. Good thinking. Never guarantee a victory.
He's a butthole.
All right, our second topic this evening. Now, I had suggested, me of all people, I had suggested that we close out the season. I know we had the 2 beers from Keith, but I wanted to do something special for Jeremy's last show. I suggested we all get Pliny and have a Pliny on the last show, knowing how much they enjoy it, know how much it's a favorite of Jeremy's. But I guess it's not as easily gettable for some folks, and we couldn't get it in time. But Jeremy found us a little Pliny news. And it's on the good news side. I'll give him credit for this. So, Jeremy, why don't you tell us about this story?
So I found something that even Rob will agree Pliny is good for.
Sure.
And that is Russian River, who never, ever, ever has sold any line cutting privileges for Pliny the Younger, decided that to raise money for the Sonoma fire victims, they would sell raffle tickets for line cutting privileges for Pliny the Younger. So these are pretty cool. It was $25 to get in the raffle. I believe they're picking 28 spots, and each winner can take one person with them, and it's good for the entire 2 weeks. So it's a pretty awesome prize.
So
I think
the prize is that you get to piss off like 2,000 other people.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Great.
But what a great prize.
No, 14 winners. So 14 winners, and the winners get one person. So 28 people total. So one a day for the 2 weeks during the Pliny the Younger release. So
Okay.
Oh, so only 2 people.
Pretty good. And
get to
those,
cut
if
every
you
day.
win,
Yeah.
no, but if you win, that your ticket is good for any of those days or all of the days.
So they could all come on the same day.
they could, but
They could.
still, I mean, trust me, in this area, if somebody said, "Hey, why are you cutting line?" and they said, "I won the raffle," nobody would be pissed.
No,
everybody would.
everybody would
They would
cheer.
they would applaud them. They
Yeah,
would applaud them.
I
So
would think so.
they raised $244,000.
Holy crap,
Wow.
that's a lot of tickets.
I know
Man.
my odds went.
I would
my
have.
odds
I
went
didn't know
way
about
down.
it. I would have bought one. I would have absolutely bought one. if I didn't know about it.
$25 a piece.
That's cheap for line cutting privileges, man. That's awesome. That's a great deal.
And when I win, I'll take you, Gary.
Awesome. They're drawing today.
Is it today? I think they're drawing one a day for 2 weeks. Starting
Maybe.
today?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Something.
Anyway, Somebody's going to win. It won't be me.
Somebody's gonna-
But I thought that was
That's-
pretty
that's
cool. That's
pretty
a
awesome.
that's a
That is
huge
very
amount of money they were able to raise.
That's
For you
amazing.
math whizzes out there, that is 9,760 tickets.
All right, one in 9,000. Good chances.
$10,000 chance. Well, I mean,
That's-
maybe
There's
not
a lot
bad.
worse.
One.
Yeah, there's a lot worse out there
Sure.
for raffles and
Yeah.
lotteries and
I would've
things.
Sure.
But still, wow, what a great thing.
All right, I'll give it to you, Pliny. Nice job.
Russian River.
Now,
Even
if you,
even Rob would have bought that ticket.
I would have bought that ticket. Yeah. I would have promptly burned it, but I would have bought it.
Boy, did you see how much it hurt him to say that? His
You know?
throat almost closed up on him as he was saying
You don't
it.
even know. The
There was
surprise
like
was
anaphylactic shock was
the
almost happening.
surprise was going to be if we drank Pliny on the show, I was not going to say a bad thing about it, and I was going to drink the whole bottle. So you don't even know
Wow.
what you missed out on.
Man.
That might.
It's kind of a
yeah,
good thing.
I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
I guess we will never know.
So I guess before we push on a little further, you guys ready to open the second beer?
Oh heck yeah!
Sure.
All right. So
Should we
going
rate this
big
one?
in-
And talk?
We can
Yeah,
rate
do-
this one before we move on. That's fine. All right. So let's save the man of the hour for last. I will tell you that this beer is really quite enjoyable. I like it a lot. I'll take the guy's word for it that the hops have dropped out because it's been sitting for a while, but that really helps it in my opinion. I'll give this. It's really on the kind of the, as Keith was saying, the milder stout kind of in taste. But for this time of year, it's perfect. It's a great fall beer. I will give this a 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Keith.
Yeah, I actually agree a lot with what you said. The fact that it held together without the hops is just kind of a really nice telling of the quality of the beer. The fact that it's still something drinkable underneath. That being said, it does I've had it both ways now, and I definitely prefer it with the hops. So I'm going to give it a 7, and it would definitely be a 9 if it had the hops.
Yeah, but that's not the beer's fault.
No, you're rating.
No, it's not the beer's
you're
fault.
supposed to rate the beer.
Well, all right. Well, rate the beer, then I know because I know what it tasted like. I'll give it a 9.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. All right, Gary.
So it's a great porter or stout. I can't speak to its IPA qualities all that well, but it's definitely got the black part of it down. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 on those characteristics, assuming that the hops as a black IPA would be there. And I'll just say that this kind of makes me want to take a trip to the Genesee Brewery. I guess I could stop by Keith's too.
Well, I got a
just
bed
because
for you.
Okay, that's good. Hopefully it's not your bed.
It might be. It
they're
might be.
doing-
It's a king size. You'll just have to fit between me and Cindy. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll work out the details
We can
later.
make that. We can make that. We can make that.
It's cuddly.
We'll kick the dog out for you.
I'm not going to tell her she's being prostituted out. So I'm going to give it an 8, and I think that I would definitely like to try some of their other pilot series because I think that, this speaks to the quality of that small batch kind of
Yeah.
feel. that
Gary,
they have.
Gary, save your Rochester trip until Amazon moves in.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, Jeremy, round us out. What do you got?
Yes. It's pretty good. Definitely got a lot of porter notes. I do wish there were a little bit more hops, but I guess we can't help that apparently because of the age. I think I'm going to go with a 7 on this beer. It's not the black IPAs are not my favorite thing. The malty super dark stuff tends to cover up the flavors I'm looking for in an IPA. But on its own without the IPA-ness, that was actually a pretty good beer. I'd definitely drink it again and look for it.
All right.
So that's 8 1/4 overall rating. That's really high for
beer without
PNRShow.
hops.
That was a really
beer
pleasant
without
beer.
hops on the
Jeremy,
PNRShow,
what did you
yeah.
give it?
I give it a 7.
Oh, okay, 7. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. All right, so we're moving on. Rock Brewing Company, Whoop Ass Double
I got to
IPA.
get a different glass. I got it.
And any hopes that I had for the same thing happening with this beer that happened to the last, as far as the hops are concerned, are going down the tubes because this thing's got hops to spare.
Yeah, it's a little hoppy on the nose, isn't it?
Woo! I'm getting my 1 rating ready. And it pours out like super uber cloudy. Hardly any head at all.
Okay, back with the new glass.
It's like
I found your head, Rob.
that's what she said. It's like a little cider tint to it.
It smells like an
I had some
IPA.
cider right now.
This definitely
This
feels like an IPA.
This is where all the hops went from Genesee.
They just transferred in transit between one bottle to the other.
No, they actually went down the road and jumped in this beer instead because they preferred it.
So how far away is this brewery from Genesee?
About 2 miles.
Oh, so
Yeah, I gotta go to Rochester.
Yeah, this is one of our upstart breweries here in Rochester. Rock Brewing came on the scene, I want to say 6-7 years ago, and has been growing pretty steadily. In fact, they've got major collaboration props for working with Sam Adams on a whole series of beers. What was that beer called?
That's a good thing.
Yeah, and I believe, I can't say where it is, I believe Sam Adams actually is a part owner in them now. But I'm not sure about that. Someone can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but because I can't actually find it anymore. But I thought I read that they had invested in Rock Brewing as one of their up and coming, kind of fledgling brewing.
All right, so let's get the suffering. I mean, let's get the beer going. To Jeremy and his mustache. May they twirl in peace. Oh, man.
wow. Oh, we've lost Rob. Rob's on the floor. Must be a good beer.
That right there speaks volumes about this beer.
It really does.
If you're only listening to the show, you're like missing out of it right now. So Rob, tell us
Rob's all broken up because of Jeremy's leaving, I think, is what it is. Oof.
Yeah, that's what it is. It looks like he is literally about to cry. Or he's having an allergy attack. I can't tell which.
It's not good. Not good.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, I almost need a new keyboard.
So, as giving beers credit, even if I didn't like them, of knowing where they were going with what they were doing and giving them good ratings when I felt they deserved it. This beer is hops and nothing but hops. There is literally no other taste to this beer but hops. That's it.
It's as if you carbonated a hop.
Yeah. It's as if you crushed a handful of hops in a glass and then poured the sweat from a man working in the hops fields, and his sweat is covered with hops leaves that just ooze the essence of the hops. And then you killed and gutted a hop beast on some foreign planet, alien planet, where hops are the equivalent of the dominant species, and poured it into a tiny little glass and forced people to drink it at the barrel of a gun made of hops. That's how bad this beer is. You're welcome, Jeremy.
Wow.
One. It gets a 1. I don't need to wait.
Now you got to say your rating for the end of the show.
All right.
I think I got your entire rant there in the notes. So
Awesome. Well, what are your initial thoughts, guys? Can't wait to hear the can't wait to hear the overflowing joy.
It's got a nice body. A multi-backbone to it. Get some like some hints, some kind of hop aroma, maybe.
Are there? I think this is where the hops from the black IPA went.
It's where the hops from the black IPA went, as well as 10 other beers. It's where it went.
This is delicious, by the way.
This tastes like I can't place the beer, but like other double IPAs that I've had, and it's kind of like right down Main Street of what a good double IPA with a lot of body that's trying to be balanced and not super over hop. It's like some double IPAs goes like really floral hoppy or really bitter hoppy. This is like right down the middle of.
I think the hops are interfering with Gary's signal.
Yeah, getting a really broken up Gary voice there.
We have
oozing
hopterference, as it were.
Yeah.
It's because they're watching Stranger Things.
It's hopatage.
Yeah, this is really a great IPA, and it's interesting. It's got the cloudiness of like a Northeast IPA, but the hops of a West Coast IPA. Really, really nice marriage of hop and body and really good mouthfeel.
It's got the caramel kind of milk to it that I like. That kind of richness, kind of buttery almost like thickness to it. That's what I was trying to say before I was cut off by the internet.
I agree. It's got the right kind of multi-middle that I love in a double. Although for me, it's a little too pine cone-y. You know, I really would like to taste something besides the forest floor that I'm sitting on in my IPAs. But I definitely appreciate where it's going, and it's nice to have some hops after the last beer.
Wow. Actually, I believe that's almost a bit of an agreement with me. There's too much hop. I'm hearing you say that.
It's not the hop.
Too much of
the
specific hop.
Yeah, the very specific Pacific hop is what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is, if you remember, there was one more beer that I thought I put in there because I didn't like in my batch, and this is it. This is the one. I do not like this double IPA as much as a lot of other ones.
Wow.
Out there. I find it entirely too piney for my taste. For my taste.
A lot of pine.
It's just it's definitely hits my taste buds that way. I don't know why. It just seems to light up all those pine cone and pine needle ones, which I'm not a big fan of.
You know, lights up everything right.
But everything else they nailed it. I just wish the blending of hops was a little bit different.
Everything else, there is nothing else.
Oh no, there definitely is.
What everything else?
There's a huge, rich caramel center to this thing that is wonderful.
No,
there is. Oh yeah, there is.
No.
You can't taste it because you're hop blind.
Man, there's a huge, rich caramel center in your head.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's nougat in his head.
No, yeah, that's definitely
your brain has a hard candy shell.
That's the Milky Ways that I've been munching on since Halloween.
There's no caramel in that.
There is.
You're in
there.
there.
Absolutely is.
It's there. It's there.
Insane.
I got it. It's there.
You know what though? It doesn't have that sickly sweet caramel flavor that they need in the South.
Remember, folks, I'm a super taster.
We do need to get you a cape,
clinically
Rob.
proven. That has been clinically proven on this very show that I am a super taster.
Which is to say, he tastes the bitterness 10 times of what we do.
Exactly.
So
Lucky.
because of that, I don't think he can taste the actual malt in there at all.
Man, that's a good beer.
Yeah.
That is man. I would drink this often.
All the time.
Yep. That's a nice beer.
Yeah. This is one of those beers. This is a beer that I have a feeling that if I had on tap, I would think was completely different than in the can too. I can see this being much more.
You know,
mellowed out.
it might be a little harsher.
I don't know.
Because
Maybe, or maybe some of those other hops will pop in there too. So
possibly, yeah. Do they say what hops they use in it?
All of them.
all
Balancing
the hops.
tropical fruit and
What-
pine with great malt body.
Their description on their website says aroma, strong sickness, strong citrus,
Yeah! Yay! Yay!
citrus, slight caramel sweetness, grapefruit rind, tropical fruits, and pine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Subdued bitterness, huh, Rob?
You might enjoy a bottle of Pine Sol a bit better. That's all I'm saying.
How old is this beer?
Not too very. This went out near the shipment. This was picked up.
But that was a few months ago.
That was a few months ago. At this point, that
So this
probably
is-
puts it at 3 to 6 months old. Probably.
Yeah.
Oof.
It tastes a lot like the Nugget Nectar to me.
I think I like this better than Nugget Nectar, actually.
Well, again, your last
You gotta
memory of
get it.
Nugget Nectar is not good.
Tastes
Yeah,
a
you
lot
gotta
like
get a fresh Nugget Nectar.
But I like the Nugget Nectar when the hops
What?
are there.
Keith, is your camera on like some kind of auto?
Yeah, it is. It's trying to follow my face and failing miserably.
It's trying to show a crotch shot.
Well, it is. But thankfully, my crotch is under the desk. You're safe.
Thank God.
All right.
You might get a belly every now and then.
Small miracles.
We've been given World Series updates all night long. It's still 5-0. We'll skip topic number 3 and move on into our pick segments.
Wait, what was
Although I'm curious though, okay, so Rob, you're rooting for the Astros. Keith,
Yeah,
are
absolutely.
you an Astros man?
You know, I normally am not a huge baseball fan during the summer, although I do love the sport. And I normally pick it up in the series and follow closely and then have a winner. This year, I have had no time for anything. In fact, I did not know the World Series was even going on until like Game 3. So now I've been following it only in the papers. I am a Houston fan for my buddy Rob. Growing up as a kid, I liked the Dodgers, but they're really not my team anymore. So I've thrown my weight behind the Astros. But I haven't watched a single inning postseason, which makes me sad. It really makes me sad.
Just to date him even more, he said, and I quote, "I follow it in the papers."
Yeah, in the papers.
In the newspapers?
On the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I look up the MLB and get a couple articles on it in my Flipboard that I read every morning, and that's about it.
I hear it on the teletype. It comes across every evening.
Yeah. That's exactly it. I pulled Old Man Brooks for you there.
Yeah, I mean, the sentimental choice, of course, is Houston because of Hurricane Harvey. But
what about you, Gary?
Yeah, I'm a Giants fan. So my favorite team is Giants. My second favorite team is whoever's playing the Dodgers.
There you go. There you go.
And to Rob's point, Houston really needs a win. I mean, they went through a huge trauma this year, and some goodwill toward Houston is definitely needed. So I would root for Houston.
It has really revitalized the city. I obviously have been a huge Yankee fan my entire life, and they got beat by the Astros in 7 games in the ALCS, which sucked for me, but I was more than happy to turn right around and cheer for them. The whole freaking city is just going crazy.
That's awesome. That's. I mean,
it would be a nice lift. It's very much akin to the feeling I remember when I was living in New York, or I was living with Keith, but I was commuting to New York and working there every day. Very much akin to the same feeling when the Yankees were in the World Series in 2001, after 9/11, and of course, unfortunately, the Yankees lost in 7 games to the Diamondbacks. But the whole city was just kind of picked up by that.
Yeah, Rob, just for the record, when you lived with me, it was still New York that we were in.
What did I say?
New
York
I
City.
missed that.
I know. I know.
Okay.
You meant New York City, and we were just in New York State.
That's as good a transition as any to go into our half pint segments. Picks for the week. Keith, music.
Oh man, we are nailing the awkward cuts today. This is great.
All right, so Jeremy, I'll let you go last. Round us out.
All right.
Gary, what is your pick for the week?
Me?
Yeah.
Prague. Go to Prague.
I have a lot of. I mean, I could go on and on about picks.
How about just one?
I got two. I got two. One, it's not really a pick. It's more of a thank you because, as we alluded to earlier, this area I live in had a fair amount of wildfires in the last month, and it was really truly devastating. I went to the doctor earlier this week up in Santa Rosa, and the landscaping in the parking lot of the hospital was burned, but the building didn't burn. So I was able to go to the doctor, and it was like, I was looking out that window. It was like, just everything was burnt. And when I was up in Ukiah, during that time when the fires were still happening, I saw fire trucks from Los Angeles and Compton and all these places. And the amount of support that Northern California got during that time from all these far-flung places was just amazing and astonishing. So sort of a shout out to all those people that, gave a lot of themselves to help a lot of people in this community. So I thought that was pretty awesome. And there's a lot of banners and stuff around these parts of thanking first responders and fire crews. But it was a traumatic experience, and they really pulled through for people that they didn't even know and probably will never know. But it was amazing to get that kind of support. So that's my sort of thank you pick, is to those folks that came in from out of the area and even in the area that did their part.
Awesome.
So my more uplifting pick is what's causing my internet problems, and that's Stranger Things Season 2. Just freaking amazing.
We haven't started it yet.
Yeah, we started watching it right away, and it kind of, watched an episode or two here or there, and then Gilly just falls asleep during everything. And after the trip to Europe, she was really falling asleep. And she the other night she fell asleep, and my youngest daughter and I just ran through. I think it might have been the last 3 or 4 episodes. And my other daughter came home from work, and we're like, put the thing on pause, and we're like, go upstairs, we're finishing this. She's like, but I just got home from work. I'm like, I don't care, we're just finishing this. And we like exile everybody just so we could finish it. And
Wow.
It was so it was good.
Good to hear you say that, because I've heard from a few people have said that's it's just kind of more the same. It's kind of the same as last year. And I've gotten to the point where literally I hear someone say the word Stranger Things, and I turn and walk the other way because I don't want to hear even anything good or bad. But
well, the wonderful thing is if it's just the same as last year, that would be amazing.
That's still good,
because it was freaking amazing last year.
It's still good.
So I'll take that.
That's what we want. We don't want them.
Yeah, we don't want to get worse. If it's more of the same, that's perfect.
Plus, you have to remember, in this binge watching culture, if you're going to sit down and watch 10 episodes of anything, you're pretty much going to get 10 episodes of the same thing really concentrated, rather than watching the same thing over the course of 10 weeks.
Yeah, so it came out like, what, 6 days ago, 5 days ago?
Over the weekend.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, it's 27th, I think, is when the drop date was, and we finished it. So we did 9 episodes over the course of 6 days. So you average that out, and it's not 10 in a row, but it's it's a lot in a row. And yeah, they picked up where they left off. There were some things that early on kind of like, I'm like, oh, I kind of thought they would do things differently, but they. All the mystery, a lot of the mystery was gone, because, you know who 11 is, what's going on, the upside down and all that kind of stuff. And it's really challenging to pick up something that was so kind of groundbreaking at the time and continue it and be good. I mean, think of like Back to the Future. Like the first one was really good. The second one was like, and
plus,
so many things.
Yeah. Plus, it's also going to have that kind of sophomore jinx on it because I mean, Stranger Things came out of nowhere last year.
It did.
And just
really
blew everyone away. So I think it's common since now it's established as a hit, and their naysayers will come and this is more the same thing. Well, the same thing was pretty freaking awesome. So
yeah, I would say they did do different things in this time, and there's the Duffer Brothers did a great job with their nods to the 80s, right? I mean, it's huge nostalgia in this, and they weave the nostalgia in, like there's the arcade scenes that you've seen in the trailers, right? But there are other things that they did that are pieces of nostalgia that they wove into this that were not just like the guys wearing Ghostbusters Halloween costumes,
right?
And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. We can talk about it later, but there were some things where like, oh my god, they're doing this thing, and it was pretty cool.
Those are two guys that I will have put on my radar. That anything that they produce, I will watch. It's like Benioff and Weiss, who are the two creators of Game of Thrones. Anything that they do from now on, I will watch.
Yeah, it's sort of like J.J. Abrams.
Well done.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, J.J. Abrams has some hit and misses, but for the most part, it's been solid.
But you pay attention.
Yeah. So. Keith, what is your pick or picks?
Hearthstone.
Well, yeah, besides Hearthstone, which is amazing still. Actually, I've got like a bittersweet pick. Back in the day when we first started doing picks, I believe, and possibly before, I recommended, and I think Gary also recommended, and everybody sort of adopted Overcast as our podcast player of choice on iOS. And I have to admit something horrible in that I have been experimenting with another podcast player in the last couple of weeks.
Cheating on your podcast player.
So
I know, it's terrible because Overcast has all the features I love. Originally when it came out, it was free, and then you got some bonus features by buying in, and we bought in because we wanted to support the developer, and now it's just pay. You get those features, but you buy it, I think, for $3 or $5 or something. And still definitely a recommended podcast player for me. But I kind of got curious in this one called Pocket Cast, which for two reasons is one is I'm seriously considering Android for my next phone, and Pocket Cast is cross-platform where Overcast is not. But another thing Pocket Cast has, which I noticed when I was scrolling through different apps available for my Sonos system, is Pocket Cast has a Sonos app that's in beta testing. And so what that does is it allows me to play my podcast exactly where I left off on my phone, also on my Sonos player, and have them sync back up and forth. But in doing that, I had to experiment with the whole podcast platform itself for Pocket Cast just to see what it's like, and it's actually very good. It has a lot of things that I kind of think we're missing that I'd like to see from Overcast, one of which is a dark theme. You'll see here. I much prefer the dark themes than the light for battery savings and just easier on my eyes. It has all the same features as Overcast, with the exception of one. Overcast will let you set a limit on how many podcasts of a given thing you want to keep. And this doesn't have that yet. You got to manually delete episodes that are getting older if you haven't listened to them. But other than that, every feature is here and then some. They really have taken Overcast and kind of added on and made, like, if you had always imagined Overcast having like an advanced features tab where you could go in and really fine tune it, that's what Pocket Cast has. So it's really good for making automatic playlists and creating episode filters and all kinds of stuff. It's built in. I like it a lot. It's not very expensive. I want to say it was about $3 on this. I imagine it's about the same on Android. It is cross-platform. It does automatic syncing between devices. So if you have it on your iPad or your Mac, there's a web version, so you can play it on a Mac or a PC too, where you stop it on your phone.
Does it sync between your phone and the web version?
It does. it does. Overcast does that too, though. If you've never used it, Overcast.fm will do that.
So it looks like they are. It's hard to find on the App Store. Pocket Cast?
Pocket Cast is what it is. It just shows up as Cast on your iPhone, but I believe it's called Pocket Cast. All one word, Pocket Cast.
With a 15-minute commute for me, I just need to play podcast. This sounds like way too complicated for me.
It is definitely on the more complicated than Overcast side. So if you like, and Overcast does everything you need to do, I'm not even going to recommend you change. But this does one thing that I really wanted to play with, which is play on my Sonos. I've got a Play One in my kitchen, and I love it. And when I'm doing dishes or something, I would like to be able to listen to my podcasts. And my Sonos can play louder than the dishwasher and the running water that I'm trying to do, which my phone cannot. So having it on there is a huge bonus for me.
Well, that's because you need an iPhone 10, Keith, and then it will be louder.
You're right. I do need an iPhone 10. I just seem to be missing the extra $1,200 to get it.
Well, it starts at $999. Come on.
It starts at $999, but the one I want is $1,200. I've already priced it out.
Then you pretty much have to buy Apple Care because the screen replacement on those is a fortune.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so if you're looking for something different, or if you want a really great podcast player on Android, or if you're looking for something that will sync with your Sonos system, your podcast player, it's definitely good. The other thing this does that Overcast doesn't do is this will allow you to play video podcasts as well in the same app. So if you wanted to get a video podcast and have that sync up across multiple devices, Overcast doesn't let you do that, but Pocket Cast will. Jeremy, I looked it up. It is Pocket Cast, but 2 words. Pocket.
Yeah, I did find it. It looks like it's $4 right now.
Yeah, $3.99. Okay.
And I'm still kind of in the minority. The podcast app is fine for me.
Oh, the Apple one?
Yeah,
Apple one?
Oh my God!
Wow.
Oh. Whoa! I know you're like.
You can feel the hate.
No, it's not the hate. It's the amazement.
So sorry.
It's like we just unthawed a caveman. And you're like,
it's like, standard definition is just fine for me for television. Who needs high def?
Wow.
Who needs that?
I didn't think anybody used that.
Awesome.
You're the reason they still include that in the iPhone because it's being
I'm
used.
rewinding my cassettes to listen to the beginning of a song.
And that warp sound you get because they got warmed up in your car and kind of melted.
Oh yeah,
that's great. That's just adds.
I mean, an Apple IIc is just fine for me. I will play.
I bet
Carmen
Jeremy
Sandiego
puts a number 2 pencil into the cassette tape to wind it back when to take up the slack. After
you gotta don't forget to break the tabs.
Oh,
you have to do that. How else would you got to make sure it's nice and tight?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's not definitely not hate, Jeremy, but it's amazement. It's amazement.
All right, Keith,
it's a new level to man on the porch right there. Yeah, I'm all set. I can't top that.
Cannot top that.
All right,
listen.
thunder.
So I'll get my picks out of the way really quick, so Jeremy can have the floor for the rest of the show. But my first pick is House of Cards, and it's kind of a loaded pick. Without going too much into the headlines of why, watch House of Cards before it's gone, is what I will say. There will come a point where it is no longer on Netflix. So watch it while it's still on there, because it's a great show. And all of the actors on the show do a great job on the show. I'm not going to speak anything about what they may or may not do off of the show, but on the show, their performances are very, very solid. Watch that show before it's gone. And my second big pick, my real pick for the week is it's a future pick. Can't wait to go see Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, so good.
Yes.
I got a buddy in Australia, or not Australia, in New Zealand that saw it already.
Yeah.
So
the Thor films in the Marvel Universe have been good, but they've always been kind of on the lower tier in terms of how much people like them. I like them fine.
The first one was really good. The first one was really.
First one was really good. The second one, I enjoyed the second one, but not a lot of people did.
Yeah.
And people have been screaming for a Hulk movie with the new Hulk forever. Marvel has basically said that's not going to happen because they realized, and I think it's a wise decision, that Hulk does not need to carry a film by himself, and maybe he can't. He's best used as a sidekick or as kind of the special character that comes in. So with Ragnarok, it's basically a Thor and Hulk movie, and what people are describing it as is kind of like a workplace comedy Marvel movie. And they say that it is hysterical and a great story, and I believe it's right now holding steady on Rotten Tomatoes at 96%. So it looks like it's going to be a very, very solid movie. Can't wait to get out my movie pass and go check out Thor Ragnarok this weekend. All right, Jeremy.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 picks. One will be a surprise pick here. The first one is MAME, which is the multiple arcade machine emulator.
Sure. Well, I don't know anything about it.
So this is an emulator that's designed to mimic the old arcade boards. And what that means is you can install MAME and then install the rips of arcade ROMs and play old school arcade games on your computer. So I was inspired to pick this because of Mad Max's score on Stranger Things of 750,200 on Dig Dug, which is amazing.
Nice. I love Dig Dug. That's the greatest of the classic arcade games.
It's probably my favorite, and my high score is only 192,610.
Now, can you get the ROMs on that website too, or do you have to kind of hunt for them?
You cannot, but
that would not be legal, Rob.
But if you go to archive.org, archive.org, which also hosts our podcast episodes, thank you, archive.org, has a section of actually you can play MAME online if you go to archive.org. They have an online MAME emulator, and you can also download the ROMs from them.
But only legal ones, though, of course.
Only if you own the arcade game, it is perfectly legal for you to download the ROMs.
Absolutely, that's what you have to do. You have to have the physical copy, and then you can download the digital one. And then it's beyond the arcade games. They also have ROMs for Atari 2600, original Nintendos. I mean, all the old gaming systems are covered by MAME.
New favorite thing.
So yeah, MAME is pretty awesome. I highly recommend you check that out. And all you have to do, find those old arcade games that are gathering dust in your garage. These ROMs. My second pick is Apple's podcast app.
Oh, come on! That's it. I'm out. Ruin down the headphones.
That is a surprise pick. Was that
Leo
actually
is not approved?
Just kind of.
I just kind of added it in.
Oh,
it works great.
That would have been perfect if it was real.
Comes with your phone. It's free.
Jeremy, leaving us.
You're killing me, Brooks. You're killing me.
All right. So before we close this out and bid a final fond farewell to our buddy here, let's rate the Rock Brewing Company. You already heard from me. It's a 1, folks. It's a 1. Let's hear from the sycophants. I mean, the judges. Let's start with Keith. What do you got for whoop ass? Tastes like ass.
I like where the beer's going, as Rob would say. But for my taste buds, there's way too much pine note to it to make it a go-to for me. So in that vein, I will give it a 6.
Ooh.
And note, I'm using the 10-point scale this week just for Jeremy.
Oh, good work.
It's my gift for you.
So just based on that, just so we can get the average up, I'm going to have to rate this an 11.
What? Get out.
And also for a Stranger Things reference?
Sure. No, I think my Untapped score was like a 4.2. So legitimately, I'll give this a 9 on our scale.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's a really nice combination of a cloudy Northeast IPA with all that body and mouthfeel, and the hop forward, piney West Coast IPA. Really, really solid beer. Not overly sweet like some doubles. Really, really good beer. I wish I had 2 or 3 more, or even a 6-pack. Definitely 9 of 10.
Oh, this is like I'm having a hard time with Google Sheets right now.
Wow.
Oh, I figured it out. Okay, I got it. Woo! Computers are hard. So that's a 6 1/4. Sorry.
Wow.
Okay, so two 8% beers in an hour.
Feeling pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. All right. So,
I don't think that black was so big. What else did you have?
No, black was an 8.
Was it really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I haven't had dinner yet.
That's a sneaky 8, man.
It is. It doesn't taste like 8, does it?
That explains why my head is swimming a little bit.
And your camera.
And my camera. Well, that camera's always drunk.
Camera's always
so all right, folks. As we close it out, I just wanted to say that I've never actually met Jeremy in person.
I have.
Yeah, but I've been talking with him basically every week, maybe sometimes every 3 weeks, once a week, for 5 years, and he's a great guy. And this is not goodbye. This is just we'll see you later, because we're gonna have him back on occasion. Whenever he feels like coming around, and he's always welcome back on the show anytime.
It's an open invite.
It was
Jeremy, so
it was.
Go up.
I will tell you. I was a little reticent when Keith came to me and said, "Hey, we should probably add Jeremy and Gary to the show since they've been guesting with us for a while." I'm like, "Oh well, I'm really kind of enjoying it just being us. Bring them in every now and then." But I would say he was absolutely Jeremy and awesome addition. Jeremy's just as much your show as anybody else's, so I want to thank you for being a great host.
Oh, thanks, guys. It's really been a lot of fun, and I've managed to run with it a lot longer than I expected to be able to. It's good, really good to get to know you, and we will definitely be back together sooner or later.
Definitely. When Rob and I started, the Pine and No Return show back, 10 years ago now or so,
Or Happy Time Magic Hour?
Yeah, that was it. Happy Time Magic Hour.
That one, yeah.
That one. Beers are hard. It was when Rob would do his opera thing, and I reached out to fans for guest spots. Jeremy was first in line, man, and that just made him a favorite all from the beginning. He did that amazing call in every half hour as he had more of what was the Omegon beer that we were doing, the Three Philosophers beer. So we got actually, while Rob and I were having a show, Jeremy was calling in and leaving audio clips of us as he worked his way through a huge bottle of Three Philosophers live. And that, if that doesn't say fan dedication, I don't know what does. So he's been our greatest fan and now our greatest host. So I salute you as you go, my friend, and I hope to see you soon.
Oh, thank you. I'll be back.
All right.
Gary, any closing words for Mr. Jeremy? I mean, you see him all the time, but
yeah, well, yeah, I'm sad to see Jeremy go from the podcast. I'm looking forward to coming back. We will have to do a Pliny recap here in a few months when we get the younger
anniversary show. Yeah,
it'll be Pliny season pretty soon.
When I get my pass.
Yeah, when you get your pass. We'll figure something out. Jeremy's going to be back around.
Yeah.
I know where Jeremy lives, so I can always
listen. There's going to be a big hole in Jeremy's heart where this show used to be, and he's not going to be able to stay away for long.
Yeah, he's not. It's going to be fun.
Jeremy, too, as you're out and about and enjoying beer, because we're not going to be able to stop you from doing that. you know, if you want to record like, you know, 2 minutes of a beer review and, you know, send it to me, I will get it on the show. We'll use
Oh,
that.
maybe we'll do that.
Hey, we'll now have
Yeah.
we'll now have two sources of feedback now going forward.
Oh, that's what
That'd
I'm
be
looking for.
great.
Could double your fan base.
Jeremy versus Aaron and feedback.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Love it.
So I do want to say I have this little thing right here. You guys probably can't see, but this is a postogram card that Jeremy sent from Vietnam earlier this year. This is like been sitting on my desk right here. So as I do these podcasts, I have this constant reminder of Jeremy's presence with his.
You know, I've got a postogram card from Jeremy, like when he was in Europe too. I should bring that down, put it in the studio.
Just put it like behind you, so he'll.
Yeah,
always
little Jeremy will always be with us.
Yeah.
Little Jeremy. So Jeremy's a
All
great
right.
beer aficionado, but he's also a great photographer. So if you're the one person who happens to be listening to this show and likes beer, you got to check out Jeremy on Flickr and the other places where he's posting his stuff. So
Yeah.
Well, this is
'cause
going to
that's how we
close us
met
out.
initially.
It closes us out for 4 seasons.
4 seasons.
Sign up
4
to
awesome
Return
seasons.
Show. So, I mean, the fact that we have no listeners alone and we still have been doing this for 4 years is just how much we both like to drink beer and hang out with one another. So we hope that y'all continue to tune into us. And
it's your professionalisms that I respect.
The what?
I am professional.
Oh, you bunch of drunks.
That's
Play
how
the
Bill
music.
Murray says it in the quote.
Play the music.
Keith, that's you.
I'd rather have lager than life. I'll take a strong stout over strife. I'd prefer to confer with a half pint of ale than live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail. So bring me lager for life. I'd rather have lager than life. I'll take a strong stout over strife.
Jeremy spoken. Hey. That's all.
Oh, I should turn off the show now.